Good morning, and let me add my welcome to all of you. I hope you'll permit me this one personal reflection. I promise it won't be another sermon. I know that a lot of you, especially LGBTQ people, have been in pain over the Cathedral's invitation to Max Lucado to preach this morning. And some of you have wondered why in the world I would agree to come here this morning. So I can't tell you what to think or do, but I can tell you why I am doing what I'm doing. Why this morning I stand with the Washington National Cathedral and its leadership in this particular moment. And I do that because I know for a fact that the real mission of this place is to be a house of prayer for all people. And those of us who are LGBTQ know how slippery that word all can be, because far too often we have not been included in it. I know this place, and I know that it is true to its mission in trying the best it can to include all of the people of God. All. And sometimes that includes people we don't agree with much at all. And to be honest with you, I'd never heard of Max Lucado, and I apologize to him for that. But I did know that I wanted to be here in this moment because I want to be a part of this place being a house of prayer for all. There are two things that we are told in seminary that we are to be as an ordained person. We are told that we are to be both a prophet and a priest or a pastor. And it's really hard to do both of those things. As a prophet, to criticize and critique the culture, to criticize the values that we see around us, to call people to account for what they've said and what they've done, and the ramifications of what they have said and done. Our nation is going through that right now, trying to hold accountable people for their actions. But at the same time, we're called upon to be pastors, to love even our enemies. Now, it would seem that those two things are at odds with each other, and actually they are, except we're called to be both things. We're called upon to offer that critique, to get angry, to demonstrate, to sign petitions, to march in the streets for what is right and just. And somehow to reach out to those we criticize for reconciliation. This place, this beautiful cathedral, and the Church Universal is in the reconciling business. And while there are times that we will get angry and out of our righteous anger critique the culture in which we live, we're also called to reach out in love. It's hard being both a prophet and a pastor. And yet, it seems to me that all of us who follow Jesus Christ are called to be both. And one doesn't negate the other. They actually complement each other. And lastly, I know that some of you have thought that inviting Reverend Lucado to preach was a disservice or a dishonor to Matthew Shepard, whom most of you know it was my great honor to lay his ashes to rest in this beautiful place for the rest of time. I think those of you who know me know that I would do nothing to dishonor Matthew and his memory. But let me just say this carefully to those of us who are LGBTQ. While a lot of us are still in pain, while a lot of us have experienced some awful things in our lives, we've won. We've won. We know how this is going to end. This is going to end with the full inclusion of gay and lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer people, non-binary people, all kinds of people in the church and into the society. We work every day to make that true. But we know how it ends. Now, the world isn't perfect yet, and there's a lot of work to be done. And there are a lot of conversations to be had with people like Reverend Lucado. But we know how it's going to end. And at least for me, it gives me permission to be just a bit gentler, to be an instrument of God's grace. I know we've won, and it'll take a while for everyone to agree that we are God's children as well. But between now and then, because I know where this is headed, I can also be a pastor. To the people on another day, I will critique and criticize and be damned angry at. Sometimes I fall on one side of that or the other, but I know I'm called to be both. I'm here because I believe this cathedral understands that we need to be both. And I stand with them. And I stand with you. And may God have mercy on us. And now ascribe to the Lord the honor due God's name. Bring offerings and come into God's courts.